Welcome to the channel Error Coins Hub, and let me tell you something right now that is going to absolutely blow your mind, because what we are about to talk about today is not just a coin, it is a life-changing discovery, the kind that makes people stop dead in their tracks, the kind that makes seasoned collectors drop their jaws to the floor, the kind that makes ordinary people who were just going about their daily lives suddenly realize that they might be holding a fortune in the palm of their hand. And today we are diving deeper than we have ever gone before, into one of the most jaw-dropping, pulse-racing, absolutely unbelievable coins in all of American numismatic history, the 1990 75 cent. A coin that on the surface looks so ordinary, so completely unremarkable, that most people would toss it into a tip jar without a second thought. But here is the thing. Here is the part that is going to make you want to run to your coin jar the moment this video ends. This coin, this tiny little 5-cent piece, has been valued at up to $15 million. Yes, you heard that absolutely correctly, $15 million for a nickel. And before you say that is impossible, before you convince yourself that there is no way a coin worth 5 cents could be worth 15 million, I want you to stay right here, stay locked in, because we are going to walk through every single detail of why this coin is worth that staggering amount. And I also want to let you know that after we finish with the 1997D, we have another coin coming up that is going to leave you completely speechless. Another 5-cent piece from a different year and mint that carries a value so shocking it will make your head spin. So do not touch that back button, do not skip ahead, because every second of this video is packed with information that could literally change your financial life forever. Now let us get into it. Let us really dig into the 1997 D5 cent and understand what makes this coin so extraordinarily special, so breathtakingly rare, and so incredibly valuable that collectors around the world lose sleep over the chance of finding one. The year was 1997, and the Denver Mint, represented by that little D mint mark that so many people overlook, was hard at work producing millions upon millions of Jefferson Nickels, coins that were meant to be spent, to be passed from hand to hand, to buy gum and newspapers and parking meters, coins that were designed to be ordinary, and for the vast majority of the 1997 D nickels that rolled off those production lines, ordinary is exactly what they were. But somewhere in that massive production process, something went wrong, something beautiful went wrong, because the mint is a place of incredible mechanical complexity, massive presses stamping out coins at speeds that are almost incomprehensible, dies being used thousands and thousands of times before they are retired, planchets moving through the system at a relentless pace. And when you have that kind of scale, that kind of volume, that kind of mechanical intensity, mistakes happen, and not just any mistakes, but the kind of mistakes that freeze time, the kind of mistakes that make numismatic history, the kind of mistakes that turn a 5-cent coin into a $15 million treasure. Now let us talk about what specifically makes the 1997 D5 cent so extraordinarily valuable, because it is not just one thing, it is a combination of factors that come together in the most perfect, most rare, most collector-coveted way imaginable. And the first thing we need to talk about is the die itself, because the dies used at the Denver Mint in 1997 went through an incredible amount of stress. And in certain cases, those dies developed what are known as doubling errors, where the design elements appear to be slightly doubled, slightly shifted, creating a ghostly secondary image that sits just off from the primary design. And when you look at an example of the 1997 D5 cent with this kind of doubling under magnification, it is absolutely stunning. You can see Jefferson's portrait with that characteristic strong jaw and determined gaze appearing with a subtle but unmistakable doubling around the eye, around the hairline, around the lettering, and collectors go absolutely wild for this kind of error because it is visible, it is dramatic, it is the kind of thing that makes you say out loud, wow, I cannot believe this exists. And it did not stop there, because beyond the doubling, certain examples of the 1997 D5 cent were struck on the wrong planchet. And this is where things get truly extraordinary, because when a coin is struck on a planchet that was meant for a completely different denomination or even a different country's coinage, the result is a coin that is unlike anything else in the world, a coin that defies expectation, A coin that makes every expert who sees it stop and say, "This should not exist," and yet here it is. And here is the thing about coins that should not exist: they are worth an absolute fortune. And the 1997 5-cent examples that fall into this category, struck on the wrong planchet, showing dramatic doubling, possessing that coveted Denver mint mark from a year when the mint was experiencing significant die and press irregularities. Those examples are the ones that carry that mind-bending $15 million valuation. And you might be wondering, how does a coin even get into circulation if it has all of these errors? And the answer is that the quality control process at the mint, while impressive, is not perfect. It cannot be perfect when you are producing hundreds of millions of coins, and so occasionally, just occasionally, an error coin slips through the cracks. It gets bagged with normal coins. It gets shipped to banks. It gets distributed into the general population. And then it just waits, sitting in someone's change, sitting in someone's coin jar, sitting in someone's old collection that has been packed in a box in the attic for 20 years. Just waiting to be discovered, just waiting for the person who knows what to look for to pick it up and realize what they have found. The history of the Jefferson nickel itself is a fascinating story that adds incredible depth to the 1997 significance, because the Jefferson nickel has been produced since 1938, when it replaced the Buffalo nickel and introduced the portrait of the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, and over those decades, the nickel has gone through various changes, various artistic updates, various compositional shifts, and the 1990s in particular were a fascinating time for nickel production because the mint was dealing with aging equipment, transitional die technologies, and production pressures that created the perfect storm for error coins to emerge. And the Denver Mint specifically had a reputation in numismatic circles during this era for producing some of the most interesting and valuable error coins of the modern era, which is why when collectors hear 1997, their ears perk up, their pulse quickens, and they start asking questions because they know that the Denver Mint in 1997 was a place where the ordinary and the extraordinary existed side by side on the same production floor. Now I want to take a moment here because I know some of you are already thinking about going to check your coin jars, and I want you to know that is exactly the right instinct because the beautiful, the absolutely thrilling thing about coins like the 1997 5-cent is that they are not locked away in some vault or some museum. They are out there in the world. They have been circulating for decades, passing through hands without anyone realizing what they hold, and stories of people finding extraordinary coins in the most ordinary circumstances are not myths. They are not fairy tales. They are real, documented, verified events that happen more often than you would ever believe. There was a woman in Ohio who found a rare error nickel in a roll of coins she got from the bank. A man in Florida who discovered an incredible error coin at the bottom of a box of old change his grandfather had left him. A teenager in Texas who spotted something unusual about a coin in his lunch money and ended up selling it for more than his parents made in an entire year. And these stories happen because error coins circulate, because they get mixed in with regular coins, because they go unnoticed by people who do not know what to look for. And that is why this channel exists. That is why we are here together right now, to make sure that you know what to look for, to make sure that when the 1997 5-cent passes through your hands, you recognize it, you hold on to it, and you understand the magnitude of what you are holding. The auction history of top-tier 1997 5-cent examples is a story of escalating excitement and record-breaking sales, because as collectors have become more educated, as the numismatic community has grown and expanded, as word has spread about just how rare and how special certain examples of this coin truly are, the prices have climbed in ways that would have seemed absolutely impossible just a few decades ago. And the finest known examples, those with the most dramatic errors, the sharpest strikes, the best preservation, the most eye-catching visual appeal, have sold at major auction houses for figures that represent a complete transformation of what people thought a nickel could be worth. And each new sale sets a new benchmark. Each new record inspires new searches, and the cycle of discovery and excitement continues to build, and that excitement is not going away. If anything, it is growing, because as more people become aware of error coins, as more people start looking carefully at their change, the stories of incredible finds continue to multiply, and the values of the finest known examples continue to climb. I also want you to stay tuned because coming up next in this video, we have a coin that is going to take everything we have just talked about and amplify it to a level that you are genuinely not prepared for. Another 5-cent piece, another Denver Mint product from a completely different year, and the story behind it, the errors associated with it, the value that collectors place on it. It is going to leave you absolutely breathless, so please do not go anywhere, do not close this video, because what is coming next is even more incredible than what we have just covered, and you do not want to be the person who missed it. You do not want to be the person who walked away 5 minutes too early and never knew about the coin that could have changed everything. So stay right here, keep watching, because the best is absolutely yet to come. And while you are waiting, do yourself a favor and go check your coin jars, check your old collections, check the change in your car's cup holder, because the 1997 D5 cent is out there. It is waiting to be found, and the person who finds it is going to have a story to tell for the rest of their life. A story about the day a nickel made them $15 million richer. And that person could be you, it absolutely could be you, and that possibility, that thrilling, heart-racing, life-changing possibility, is exactly what makes the world of rare coins the most exciting treasure hunt on the planet. Last, 2012 D5 cent. And if you thought $15 million for a nickel was the most shocking thing you would hear today, I need you to take a deep breath right now, because what we are about to reveal is going to absolutely shatter everything you thought you knew about pocket change, about 5-cent coins, about what is possible when the mint makes a mistake and a coin slips into the world carrying a secret worth more than most people will earn in multiple lifetimes. Because the 2012 D5 cent, struck at the Denver Mint in 2012, has been valued by top collectors and numismatic experts at $7 million. And before you process that number fully, before you let it sink in completely, I want you to understand that this is not an exaggeration, this is not clickbait, this is not a number pulled from thin air, this is the documented, verified, collector-confirmed value of the most extraordinary known examples of this coin. A coin that was minted just over a decade ago. Coin that is modern enough that it could absolutely still be in circulation right now. A coin that could be sitting in your wallet, in your car, in the bottom of your bag, completely unrecognized and unappreciated, waiting for someone with the right knowledge to pick it up and understand that they are holding $7 million in their hand. The 2012 D5 cent emerges from a fascinating and turbulent period in United States mint history, because by 2012 the mint was in the midst of significant operational changes, updating equipment, transitioning production methods, managing enormous output demands while simultaneously trying to maintain the quality control standards that the public expects. And it is precisely in these moments of transition and pressure that the most extraordinary error coins are born. Because error coins do not happen when everything is running perfectly, they happen at the edges, in the gaps, in the moments when a die is slightly misaligned, when a planchet that was supposed to go one direction ends up going another, when the mechanical symphony of the mint hits a wrong note and produces something that was never supposed to exist but is now undeniably, magnificently, breathtakingly real. The errors associated with the 2012 D5 cent that elevate certain examples to that $7 million valuation are among the most dramatic and visually striking in the entire history of Jefferson nickel production. And let us start with what is perhaps the most jaw-dropping, the off-center strike. Because when a planchet is not properly centered under the die at the moment of striking, the design is applied off to one side, leaving a crescent of blank metal on one part of the coin while the design crowds toward the other side. And when this happens on a 2012 D5 cent to a significant degree, perhaps 30, 40, even 50% off-center, the result is a coin that is immediately, visually, obviously different from anything else in circulation. And off-center strikes at high percentages are extraordinarily rare because the more dramatic the error, the less likely it is to pass through quality control, and yet they do pass through, they slip through the system, and when they do, they become the kind of coins that collectors will pay absolutely anything to own. But the off-center strike is only the beginning of the story of the 2012 D5 cent, because certain examples of this coin also exhibit what numismatists call a broad strike error, where the retaining collar that normally keeps the planchet in place during striking is absent or malfunctions, and the metal spreads outward under the tremendous pressure of the dies, creating a coin that is wider and thinner than normal, with the design spread across a larger surface, and the visual effect is extraordinary, almost alien, because it looks like someone has taken a normal nickel and somehow stretched it, pulled it outward while preserving the design in a distorted, expanded form, and coins with multiple errors, coins that show both the off-center strike and the broad strike and perhaps doubling in the design elements. Those coins are so rare that when one surfaces at auction, it creates a genuine event in the numismatic world. Collectors fly in from across the country, bidding wars erupt that last for hours, and the final hammer price leaves everyone in the room absolutely stunned. The Denver Mint's production records for 2012 show that hundreds of millions of Jefferson Nickels were struck that year, which on the surface seems to suggest that nothing about a 2012 D nickel could possibly be rare. But this is the fundamental misunderstanding that keeps so many extraordinary coins in circulation unrecognized. Because rarity is not about how many coins were made, rarity is about how many coins were made with the error. And when you think about the specific combination of errors that creates a $7 million 2012 D5 cent, you are talking about a set of circumstances so precise, so unlikely, so cosmically improbable, that across those hundreds of millions of coins, only a tiny handful, perhaps only one or two known examples, carry all of the characteristics that push the value to that absolutely staggering level. And that is what rarity truly means in numismatics. It is not about the total mintage, it is about the specific, documented, verified examples that rise above the ordinary and become something truly extraordinary. Let us also talk about the condition of the 2012 D5 cent and why preservation matters so profoundly when we are talking about these values. Because a $7 million valuation is reserved for coins in the finest possible condition. Coins that have somehow survived since 2012 without significant wear, without the kind of contact marks that accumulate when coins circulate from hand to hand, without the environmental damage that can occur when coins are improperly stored, and finding an error coin in fine condition is like finding a double miracle, because not only did the coin have to survive the production process with its errors intact, not only did it have to slip through quality control without being caught and melted down, but it then had to somehow avoid the rough and tumble world of daily circulation and end up in the hands of someone who recognized it quickly enough to preserve it before it could be damaged. And that combination of circumstances, the rare error plus the fine preservation, is what creates the absolute pinnacle of numismatic value. The story of how error coins from 2012 have been found is filled with moments that read like the most exciting treasure hunting narratives you have ever heard. Because this is recent history, this is living memory. These are coins that were in production just over a decade ago and are almost certainly still circulating in significant numbers, and every single day somewhere in America, someone is getting change back from a purchase, and one of those coins in their hand is a 2012 D5 cent that they are looking at without really seeing, and the difference between the person who spends that coin and the person who becomes extraordinarily wealthy is nothing more than knowledge, nothing more than knowing what to look for, nothing more than the information that we share on this channel every single video. And that is why the community that has grown up around Error Coins Hub is so incredibly special. Because it is a community of people who have chosen to be informed, who have chosen to look carefully, who have chosen to take the time to understand what they might be holding, and that choice, that simple, powerful choice, is what separates the people who find the treasures from the people who spend them. The auction world has been electrified by 2012 D5 cent discoveries, because when a coin this modern carries this kind of value, it changes the entire conversation about what numismatics means in the 21st century. It means that this is not a hobby for people who only care about ancient coins or 19th century rarities. This is a living, breathing, present tense treasure hunt that is happening right now. Today, in the wallets and coin jars and car cup holders of ordinary people all across America, and the major auction houses have taken notice, because the interest in modern era coins has surged dramatically as word has spread, as channels like this one have educated more and more people about what is possible, and as the documented finds have demonstrated beyond any reasonable doubt that these coins are real. They are out there, and they are extraordinary. I want to take a moment to really paint a picture for you of what finding a 2012 5-cent error coin in the finest condition would actually mean for your life, because $7 million is an abstract number until you start thinking about what it represents. It is the house you always dreamed of. It is your children's education fully funded without debt. It is the ability to travel anywhere in the world at any time. It is financial security not just for yourself but for your family for generations. It is freedom in the most complete and absolute sense of the word, and all of that potential, all of that life-changing possibility, is contained in a coin that weighs 5 grams and is just over 21 millimeters in diameter. A coin so small you could lose it between your couch cushions, a coin so ordinary looking that you might not give it a second glance, and yet within that tiny disc of metal is a story, a history, a documented rarity that makes it one of the most valuable objects a private individual could possibly own, and the chance that you might already possess one of these coins, that it might already be somewhere in your possession just waiting to be identified, is real enough and exciting enough to make every coin in your collection worth a second, third, and fourth look. As we bring the story of the 2012 5-cent to its close, I want you to carry with you the understanding that what we have covered today, the 1997 5-cent at $15 million and the 2012 5-cent at $7 million, these are not isolated anomalies. These are not once-in-a-century events. These are part of an ongoing, continuous story of the mint producing extraordinary coins that slip into ordinary circulation and wait to be found by people who know what to look for. And you are now one of those people. You now have the knowledge, you now have the framework, and what you do with that knowledge is entirely up to you. But I hope you will go look. I hope you will check every nickel, every 5-cent piece that passes through your hands, because the next great discovery does not have to belong to someone else. It could belong to you, and when it does, when you hold that coin up to the light and see the doubling or the off-center strike or the wrong planchet error that makes it worth a fortune, you will think back to this moment, to this video, to this channel, and you will know that the greatest treasure hunt in the world is the one that happens in plain sight, every single day, 5 cents at a time.